For a long time, if you had a Mac, you probably felt pretty safe from the worst stuff on the internet. But that feeling of security, it's starting to change. Today, we're going to break down a piece of malware that proves nobody is completely immune, a really sophisticated new threat called Infinity Stealer.
So, you gotta ask yourself, is your Mac really as safe as you think it is? That sense of being untouchable can actually be pretty dangerous because attackers are getting way smarter about how they target Mac OS. And Infinity Stealer, it's the perfect example of this. So let's dive in and see exactly how it works. Alright, so let's give this new boogeyman a name. Security researchers over at Malwarebytes have flagged this brand new info-stealing malware, and they've called it Infinity Stealer. What makes it so scary is how it mixes some seriously clever social engineering with some tricky technical stuff to avoid getting caught.
So what does this thing actually do? Well, the name kinda gives it away, right? It's all about stealing. Its one and only job is to sneak onto your Mac and just suck up all of your most sensitive personal information. But how it gets in the door, well, that's where things get really clever.
The best hacks often go after the person, not the computer. And that's exactly where Infinity Stealer starts, with a really convincing and totally deceptive trick that plays on something we all do online, like every single day.
Come on, you've seen this a million times, right? A little box pops up asking you to prove you're human. We click these things all the time without even thinking, but this malware is designed to use that exact moment of trust against you. So have a look at this. On the left, that's the real deal, the familiar Cloudflare check we all know. But over on the right, that's the trap. It looks almost identical, doesn't it? This trick is called ClickFix. It's all designed to make you drop your guard and get you to do something you would or should never normally do. And this right here, this is the whole trick, the game-changing moment. Instead of a simple checkbox, the fake pop-up says there's a problem and tells you to copy a line of code and paste it into your Mac's terminal. That's it. That's the master key they need to completely bypass your Mac's security.
Okay, so what actually happens the second you paste that command and hit enter? Well, it's not just one little thing. It's the trigger for a whole chain of events that happens super fast, all silently in the background, leading to a full-blown infection.
Let's walk through this. The moment you press enter, that script you just pasted goes to work and downloads another file, a nearly 9 megabyte loader. But that's just the delivery truck. That loader's job is to unpack the real threat, the final 35 megabyte Infinity Stealer payload, all from one simple copy-paste.
So why is this thing so sneaky and hard to spot? Well, it's because it's compiled using something called Nuka. Here's a good way to think about it. Most malware is like a meal kit. Security software can look at the raw ingredients, the code, and say, hey, this is bad. But Nuka basically cooks the meal for you. It turns the code into a native app, so it's much harder for antivirus to see the raw ingredients and know what it's made of.
And it's clever too. It's not just going to run anywhere. Before it does anything malicious, it actually checks to see if it's in a sandbox or a virtual machine. The kind of sterile environment a security researcher would use to study it. If it sniffs one out, it just shuts down. That makes it incredibly difficult to analyze and fight back against.
Okay, so we know how it gets in, we know how it hides, but what's the end game? What is this thing actually trying to steal from your Mac? What's at risk here?
Now, this isn't some smash and grab job where it just takes random files. Oh no, this thing has a very specific shopping list. It's programmed to hunt for 5 key categories of your most valuable digital data, the stuff at the very heart of your digital life.
Just look at this list. It's going for the crown jewels. We're talking saved passwords from Chrome and Firefox. It targets your entire macOS keychain, basically the master vault for all your credentials. It actively scans for cryptocurrency wallets. It even digs through developer files for secret keys, and get this, it takes screenshots of your screen, grabbing whatever you happen to be looking at.
And once it's got all that, game over. It bundles everything up, ships it off directly to the attacker's server. And just to rub it in, they get an instant notification on Telegram letting them know they just hit the jackpot with your data.
I know, this all sounds pretty terrifying. But here's the good news. Stopping this entire attack from ever happening is actually surprisingly simple. It all boils down to one single, incredibly important rule. And this is the #1 thing you need to remember. And it comes straight from the researchers at Malwarebytes. The golden rule is simple. Never, ever paste a command you find online into your terminal if you don't know exactly what it does. Just think about it for a second. Why would any legit website ever need you to run code on your computer just to prove you're human? They wouldn't.
You gotta understand, your terminal isn't just another app. It's not like Safari or Chrome. It's a direct, powerful line into the very core of your Mac's operating system. That's why attackers love it so much. So treat it with a ton of caution and respect.
So what's the big picture here? Infinity Stealer is proof that the days of Macs being invincible are long gone. The bad guys are getting smarter, their attacks are getting more targeted, and their tools are always going to be changing. So it leaves you with one last question to think about. In this cat and mouse game, is our own awareness, our own healthy skepticism, the best defense we really have?